of you, is fame related to fortune? Do these concepts go together?
No, I always say I've got fame with no fortune to match. Look, I think there are times, I think I think somehow they actually go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So no,
I think luck, and some way somehow it's like your fame has got. Maybe it might have to be attached with some entrepreneurial thing. But when you look at, for instance, actors abroad, who basically can just, live largely on a particular discipline that they are doing, you are always in between jobs. And if you're not in between jobs, you actually have this like if you're doing a soapy, you know what I mean? But soapy, Leona, basically, there is a way and the way it is structured, Mokai, it is actually structured in such a way that you are almost living like the only difference is like a highly paid executive, but when you don't have the benefits of an executive. You know what I mean? An executive could be getting $1 million, but that $1 million comes, the benefits, what you call it, medical aid, housing allowance, car allowance. You don't have those, and with a certain kind of stability as well. All right, okay, So. Yeah, I would like to read that thing that I wanted to tell. I was telling you about Yamato. And he says, what is to work with love? It is to weave a cloth with threads drawn from your heart, even as if your beloved were to wear that cloth. It is to build a house with affection, even as if your beloved were to dwell in that house. It is to sow seeds with tenderness and reap the harvest with joy, even as if your beloved were to eat the fruit. It is to charge all things you fashion with a breath of your own, and to know that all the blessed dead are standing about and watching. Love, work is love made visible.
Wow. I wish you could have ended up with that conversation, but I still have to ask you one last question. Because if I don't ask you this question, I'm going to lose everybody who they want me to ask you this question. So, at about 4 o'clock this evening, when the markets closed, the rand-dollar exchange was about 15 rand 30 to the dollar. So the question is, in all your career, in the life that you've lived, in the roles that you've played, you say, doesn't matter whether it's still in the bank or in your pocket, would you say you managed to accumulate $1 million?
No. I wouldn't be in this country if I had. No, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be in this country, man.
Well, I'll tell you this much, though. To millions of South Africans, you've brought multi-million dollars worth of happiness and fun and joy and pleasure. And for that, we thank you.
No, thank you, man. Thank you, my bro. There's there's one thing that every time, and when I look at, the people in my country or my people in the country, and they once inspired me to write this poem I wrote in celebration of Maake Ribani's modeling agency, and it was called Siyazazi. The poem is called Siyazazi. And then Maake used to run a modeling agency called Siyazazi. So it's taking from the name of Siyazazi and watching the models doing their thing and exhibiting their beauty, the African beauty. It inspired this poem. From the bowels of dubiety, once proud being, then reduced to a corrosive humility. Our souls disgracefully packed and sold. Time's tick, turned the meek to bold, elevating our spirit to a height much to perplex arrogance might. Cause now, siyazazi, we know who we are. Re a tseba gore bana ba kgole re tsebana ka melodi. Re a tseba gore bana ba kgole re tsebana ka molodi wa popego. Re a tseba gore bana ba kgole re tsebana ka molodi wa mosepelo. E kwa ge re sesega ka mesepelo ya rena. E kwa ge re rikiki ka kgato tša rena. Morethetho wa Ncube wa kgato tša rena ga o ne papišo.
Oh man.